Okay, let's dive right in. We've all seen the internet evolved, right? We went from the static, read-only pages of Web 1 to the interactive social world of Web 2. And now we're deep in the era of Web 3, with its big promise of decentralization. But what if that's not the final destination? What if it's just a stepping stone? Today, we're looking at an idea that proposes a pretty radical next step, something called substrate intelligence. So, that's the big question to kick us off. What if decentralization isn't enough? I mean, for years, it's been the holy grail of Web3, the big dream of taking power back from the tech giants. But this paper we're looking at makes a bold claim. Just spreading out data across a network, well, that alone won't get us to a truly intelligent, adaptive web. And this slide, this right here, gets to the absolute heart of the problem. A decentralized system, like a blockchain, is fantastic at storing information. But here's the catch. It can't understand any of it. It can log a billion transactions, but it can't learn a single thing from them. You see the difference? It has tons and tons of data, but it has zero knowledge. So, if decentralization isn't the final goal, then what is? The big idea here is something called substrate intelligence. And this is a huge shift in how we think about all this. We need to move away from building these static, kind of lifeless databases and start thinking about how we can cultivate living, breathing digital organisms. Yeah, organisms. Let's break that down, because it sounds a little out there. Substrate intelligence is the theory that real intelligence, it doesn't just come from writing smarter and smarter code. No, it's about building the right foundation, the right kind of digital matter or substrate that actually allows intelligence to emerge all on its own, kind of like how it happens in nature.
And this is the perfect analogy to help it all click. Think about your own brain, your consciousness. It's not just a program running, right? It's something that emerges from this incredibly complex physical system of neurons and synapses. The argument here is that a truly intelligent web needs its own version of that, a substrate built from the right mix of infrastructure, identity, and economics.
This whole concept really rests on three core principles. First, the substrate defines the intelligence. Basically, what you build on top of determines what can grow out of it. Makes sense. Second, emergence requires the right conditions. Intelligence won't just pop into existence, it has to arise from how all the different pieces interact. And third, and this one is super important, constraints actually enable intelligence. It sounds weird, but think about it. Just like a cell has limits on its energy, a digital system needs productive limits, like token economics, to force it to be efficient and adapt.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this digital organism actually look like in the real world? How do we build it? Well, it turns out we can use 5 key pillars of Web3 that you might already be familiar with. Let's see how they fit together.
First up is DPIN, or decentralized physical infrastructure. Think of this as the physical body of our organism. We're talking about real-world devices, electric vehicles, smart sensors, solar panels, acting as the nodes in the network. They literally become the neurons and synapses of this new web. So an EV isn't just a car anymore, it's a node processing real-world energy data. Next, every organism needs a sense of self. It needs to know this is me. That's where decentralized identity, or DID, comes into play. And this is way more than just a username. It's a persistent, trusted identity that lets trust build up over time through interactions, just like in a real community. It basically forms the neural pathways for trust within the whole system. So how does our organism learn? How does it get smarter? Through DeSci, or decentralized science. This pillar transforms research and data into a living, shared resource. By using things like DAOs and token incentives, it creates a system where a community can solve problems together and build a shared understanding. It's basically the web's brain for creating new knowledge. Of course, any living thing needs energy to survive and grow. In this digital world, that energy is economic. And DeFi, decentralized finance, provides the system's metabolism. Its token systems create those crucial constraints we talked about, making sure resources are used efficiently and creating markets that literally fuel the entire organism's growth. And finally, we have DPAI, or decentralized physical AI. This is how the organism forms memories and learns from experience. An AI that's part of an EV network, for instance, can learn from all the real-world driving and charging data to get better at predicting energy demand. It's creating a kind of living memory. This is the system's neural plasticity, its ability to adapt and change over time. So this table just brings it all home. You can see really clearly how each pillar plays a specific role, just like in a body. You've got the physical structure from DPIN, the trust pathways from DID, the collective brain and DSI, the metabolism from DeFi, and the memory from DPI. You see? It's not just a random collection of cool tech. It's an interconnected, living system.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is a cool idea, but why should I care? Well, it matters because it completely changes the goal. We stop thinking like engineers who are just building a static network, and we start thinking more like gardeners who are trying to cultivate a dynamic, living ecosystem. So let's nail down the key takeaways here. First, this whole framework shifts the goalpost for Web3. It's not just about decentralization anymore, it's about emergence. Second, it gives us a blueprint for creating digital ecosystems that can actually sustain and organize themselves. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it connects all this abstract tech to the real world with a tangible impact on things like our energy grids, scientific research, and AI.
There's this one line from the paper that just perfectly captures the ambition of this whole idea. We are not just building networks, we are building substrates for intelligence. I mean, that's a powerful way to reframe the entire Web3 project, isn't it? The focus isn't just on the network itself, but on what that network can give birth to. And that really is the final thought to leave you with. This whole perspective forces us to ask a much bigger question. Is the goal here just to build a better, more decentralized internet? Or are we actually, right now, building the foundation for a completely new form of intelligence to emerge? That's a fascinating and kind of wild question that could really define whatever comes next for the web.